Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been part of a huge change at work that just fizzled out? You know, a new software, a new process that promised the world but ended up just delivering a whole lot of frustration? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful framework that explains exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to actually get it right. It's called the Ohno method, and the secret sauce? It's all about following an absolutely unbreakable sequence.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start by unpacking this thing called the transformation paradox. It's basically the core reason so many big projects fail. Then we'll walk step by step through the Ohno method sequence, starting with the most critical part, leadership. From there, we'll talk about flow and process, and then finally, we'll see where technology actually fits into all this. And we'll wrap it all up with the one big idea you absolutely need to remember.
All right, let's kick things off with our first section, the transformation paradox. This really gets to the heart of the matter, that big, confusing question that everyone faces with major change. Where in the world do you even start?
No, seriously, think about it for a second. We have all seen this happen, right? Companies pour massive amounts of money and have the best intentions, but a staggering number of these big change projects just don't stick. So what's going on? Why does this keep happening?
Well, the problem often boils down to something called the MPT paradox. That stands for mindset, process, and technology. See, here's the catch. You absolutely need all three for any transformation to work, but they're all tangled up together. It's this classic chicken and egg situation. You try to introduce new technology, but the old mindset pushes back. You try to change a process, but the old tech can't handle it. It feels like you're stuck. So, where do you start? The good news is, there actually is a reliable sequence to untangle this mess.
And that paradox, that's precisely what the Ohno method was designed to solve. So that brings us to section 2, starting with what's called leadership Kaizen. And let me be clear, this is the mandatory foundation. It's the one step you absolutely, positively cannot skip.
Okay, so here's the whole sequence at a glance, and I want you to notice something really important. Leadership Kaizen isn't step 1, it's step 0. It's treated as a prerequisite, you know? It's like the prologue to the book. Without this, the rest of the story just falls apart. Nothing else works.
So, what exactly is leadership Kaizen? Well, it's not about managers sitting in their offices and just giving orders. Not at all. It's about the leaders themselves rolling up their sleeves and doing the hard work first. It's about them personally developing the courage and the right mindset to genuinely challenge the status quo, to finally break free from that "but we've always done it this way" trap.
And this quote right here, wow, it really hits the nail on the head. Just let it sink in for a moment. If the leaders don't change first, any transformation they try to push is just going to end up making people more comfortable with the broken system they already have. It makes people satisfied with good enough. Leadership Kaizen is what lights the fire and makes everyone feel the urgency to improve.
And look, this isn't just some fuzzy, abstract idea. We're talking about concrete actions. Leaders have to go to the Gemba, that's a Japanese term for the place where the actual work happens, so they can see reality with their own two eyes. They have to be committed to their own continuous learning, get out there and personally engage with the workforce and build that solid cultural foundation before they ever ask a single employee to change.
All right, so once that leadership foundation is poured and solid, then we can move on to section 3, first flow, then process. This is where we actually start building the structure of the system. And believe me, the order here is everything.
And this is where things get really interesting. The typical way companies do this is they try to make each department efficient on its own. You know, sales gets a shiny new tool, marketing tries a new process, but all this does is build taller walls between them. It creates silos. The Ohno method flips that completely on its head. Step 1, Flow Kaizen, is all about the effectiveness of the entire system, the value stream that flows across every single department.
The whole goal here is to get everything in sync. You want work and information to move like a smoothly flowing river through the whole organization, not get stuck in stagnant ponds between departments. When you achieve that, you can enable a true just-in-time system where you're responding to what customers actually need, not just guessing and piling up inventory.
And that leads perfectly into the next step. Think of establishing flow like lowering the water level in a river. It's only when the water is low that you can suddenly see all the big, ugly rocks and snags that were hidden underneath. Once the flow is established, the real problems, the true bottlenecks, become painfully obvious. And that's when you move to step 2, process Kaizen, to go in and fix those specific issues you've just uncovered.
Okay, which brings us to section 4, the final piece to the operational puzzle. Machines. Yep, we're finally talking about tools and technology. And this is the stage where, honestly, most organizations get it completely and totally backwards.
Here's the crucial takeaway. Machine Kaizen, which is all about investing in tools, software, and technology, comes dead last. It is the final layer. It's what you do to enhance a structure that is already solid, a structure with strong leadership, smooth flow, and dependable processes. Buying the tech first? That's like buying a state-of-the-art kitchen for a house that doesn't even have a foundation yet. It makes no sense.
But what's really fascinating here is that this step isn't just about buying the most expensive, cutting-edge AI software you can find. At the heart of this philosophy is a really cool concept called karakuri. And the whole idea is to use simple, cheap, and often purely mechanical devices to help people do their actual value-added work more easily.
I mean, we are talking about clever, low-cost solutions that teams invent right there on the spot. Think about things like custom-made trolleys to move parts around effortlessly, or simple moving platforms, or ingenious little levers that take the physical strain out of a task. It's all about empowering your people to solve their own problems with simple tools long before you ever consider dropping millions on a big, complex system.
Okay, so let's tie this all together in our final section. If there is only one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this: the unbreakable sequence.
Just keep that house analogy in your mind. Step 0, leadership Kaizen, that's your concrete foundation. It has to be solid. Step 1, flow Kaizen, is the framing of the house, connecting everything together. Step 2, process Kaizen, is like putting in the plumbing and the wiring inside those walls. And then, only at the very, very end, do you get to step 3, machine Kaizen, and bring in all the shiny new gadgets and appliances.
And that, right there, is the whole point. The sequence is everything. It's non-negotiable. Trying to skip ahead and buy new tech before the leadership and culture are ready, trying to fix one tiny process before you even understand the overall flow, that is why transformations fail. It's because people are trying to install the smart fridge before they've even poured the foundation.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. As you look around at the changes happening in your own organization, just ask yourself this. Are you patiently and deliberately building a solid foundation, or are you just buying more gadgets and hoping they'll magically fix everything? The answer to that one question, well, it can tell you an awful lot.